I'm going to talk to you about the spear skirmisher build order. Any human build order? I think most of the human build orders revolve around you opening like some light army and then booming with the second TC behind that. If you do anything else human specific, it mostly is just the standard stuff. So let's talk about the build we have right now before we move on to something else. I never thought it would. I thought it would be built. It would make sense. Never thought Huns could do this. The reason Huns are very nice when you do this is because of the transition to the other units that you are going to make, not because of just the power of spear skirmishers. I actually like it more than I like doing it with Byzantines. Yes, Byzantines have cheaper units, but your economy is much more cleaner if you do it with Huns. What I mean by that is like your follow-ups are going to be much easier to do. It's a personal preference. You can do it with any civ. Any civ in the game is going to let you be able to do this build order that I'm showing. So again, it starts off pretty normally actually. You start off with like the typical like 6 on cheap and 3 on word. The same stuff that we've always been doing. And then taking the boar and going up to the 20 pop-up. I used to play in... Yeah, I was towards the end of that time. I started around the time people started like switching into the other areas of the game. Yeah. 3 on word. Next villager goes to take the elephant. I'm gonna push 2 deer again. If you're not pushing 2 deer, just add 1 more villager to the build I'm doing. That's all the difference these 2 deers are going to make. Just 1 more villager. But since I expect people to know how to push the deer and scout my opponent at the same time, I am still going to push the deer. Just keeping in 100% in line with how I would do it in an actual game. Gonna keep like 10 villagers under the town center collecting the food. Once I have 10 villagers on the town center, next villager goes to the berries. And now I'm going to send 3 on berries again instead of your typical 4 on berries. Why would I want 3 on berries? You'll understand in feudal age. It like is not as obvious in dark age, but like once you get to feudal age and you start like doing the build on a consistent basis, you will like understand the nuances between having 3 on berries versus 4 on berries. I'm gonna try to find my opponent. Again, last 2 villagers, this is the difference. Already in the scout builder, you're already going to be sending the villager to the wood line, but no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to keep these villagers under the town center, collecting the food. I need that excess food a little bit. Even if it's like something like 20 or 30 extra food, it's worth it. It's better to have that extra food than the wood at this point of the game. And since, yeah, once you're up, then is like that is when you relocate the villages. That's 6, and you need 8 on 1 wood line. And once you're up, send 3 healthy villagers towards the direction of your opponent. 4 on each side of that wood line, and sending 3 wills forward. And I already see where my opponent's wood line and berries are, and my wood line, the opponent's wood line is a little bit in the front, so I'm going to hit whatever is in the front. The main priority should be attacking the berries, but if the berries are like too far in the back, it's not like worth for me to go all the way to the back. If I already have a target in the front, which is like the wood line over here or the wood line over here, I'm going to hit that. Make the barracks in the middle of the map, kind of close towards your opponent, but like in between both your bases. That way you can send your spearmen back at your base anytime you feel like. If you're versus a scout opener. If you're versus a scout opener or a Manatam opener, you start walling off your stuff as well. You start like walling off your wood line and you start walling off your berries against your opponent. Just make small walls to protect them. And once you're up, at the archery range, make 2 spearmen, get the wood upgrade, and wait for your archery range to be built before you attack with your spearmen and scout. So that you can use the combination of your villages to attack your opponent's villages as well. These are there to make tower as well, but that is not the most important thing. So now I have 6 on sheep. Now the next one is 6 on berries in terms of the build order. So once you have 6 on sheep, I'm gonna attack my opponent. Just delay. Now I need 6 on berries. So two spearmen over here and 1 spearman already in the back. If I'm against a scout rush build order, I'm already sending a villager back, a spearman back. Once I have 2 spearmen, and I'm already harassing. This wood line is up because I'm already towering it. Now I'm moving on to the next wood line, and yeah, need 1 more on the berries. Starting to add farms as well. And the number of farms I need is 5 before I think about doing something else. Just hitting both the wood lines, this is already the damage I need that like will let me get ahead. Gonna add like 2 more farms, 1 more. I need 1 more. And then after that, the new villagers go to stone. Till I have 3 on stone, which will allow me to have constant tower production. With the villagers I have in the forward, I can start using them as a part of the military or start walling off my opponent's resources. No eco upgrade, I already have the wood upgrade. I don't need any more than that. I'm not going to get the farm upgrade. It's way too expensive on your economy to get the farm upgrade right now. You can get it a little bit later though. Just like walling and laming my opponent's wood line. And yeah, just start attacking your opponent's stuff with your villagers and your spearmen. Add more spearmen and skirmishers with this army. And start adding more farms till you have a total of 8 farms. Since he's like still trying to take this wood line, I'm going to go back and harass this wood line again. Once I have 8 farms, I'm not going to be adding any more farms. Just using the combination of my army. Just making sure I'm not losing any of them. Any particular tips to micro? Control group all of them and use them in a combination. Make sure like you're not losing any of them for free. Just use patrol to make sure they don't die. And now add a stable. So now there's like 2 options. Either you add a blacksmith to get fletching for your skirmishers, or if you're against a lot of skirms and they have like spearmen and they're out microing you, get fletching. But if they are like, if you want to go for a tech switch, now is the time to do it. After 8 farms, once you have 8 farms and 3 on stone, which will allow you to have constant tower production, like basically after every like villager like makes that tower. And these berries are almost going to be running out soon as well. So these 6 villagers will act like as a secondary wood line as well. Yeah, just wall in the towers, make sure like none of your towers are unwalled, and start adding scouts as well with this army. So now you see like he has scouts and he wants to send it to attack you. I'm gonna send these 6 villagers to make a make another wood line, lumber camp. Get the horse color upgrade right now before adding more farms. I'm gonna clean these scouts with my army. Just gonna keep adding farms now till I have at least 20 farms. Just keep adding farms and keep adding military until you feel like you don't need that anymore. And add a tower here as well. And most of the villages on straggler. You need at least like these 14 villages on wood will let you make constant towers and skirmishes and spearmen and farms at the same time. So 8 in the wood in the opening, and once your berry runs out, the 6 villages from the berries make another lumber camp. Yep, this army basically will be able to kill like most of the armies in feudal age. Save a little bit of wood if you want to go for blacksmith as well. And I need one more. Oh, he killed most of my scouts, but that's fine as well. I'm not really looking that heavily on my micro because I know I'm delaying a lot of my opponent's economy anyway. I have 20 farms, which will let me make like a lot of scouts. Now you can think about adding like even a second stable and go for like full scouts against your opponent if you manage to keep them open. But I'm just gonna go to the gold and try to click up to the next stage. I'm gonna add a blacksmith. Like, look at him, like he can't even take the wood. Use your army like as much as you can without wasting it.
Saladin! I don't want to alarm you, but Crusaders are attacking our trade route!
Now you're just waiting for enough food to click up. The food and gold to click up. No. No. That's one of the biggest misconceptions. You should never be always making units. You need at least 2 spears in your army and like 3 or 4 skirmishers. Any unit after that is basically excess. You need at least 4 skirmishers and 2 spearmen. That's all the requirement there is for the army. After that, it depends on how much army you need. So don't add unless you need it. And when do you need it? It depends on like what is happening in the game. So 2 spearmen, 3 or 4 skirmishers. That's like the minimum number. The maximum is like the upper limit, but minimum is that much. After that, like you don't have to constantly make. You can idle to prioritize other things in the game. Once I have 8 on gold, I can basically click up to the next stage. And I'm up. Gonna add more farms so that I can go for double stable constant production. I can even play triple stable if I want, by the way, because of how much economy I have. And these villages back to gold. And I'm gonna get like my upgrades. And this, with this much army, like double stable constant night production with full upgrade should be able to do the job. Now I only need 10 onward. The rest can go on gold. Yep. Use the feudal army till you are able to get to castle age. Then add a 3rd stable as well. Just go for like full night production to kill your opponent once you reach to castle age. Getting the 2nd gold upgrade as well. I mean the first one. But getting the gold upgrade. Once you have like this many villages on gold. Which is fine because you're going to burn out of gold very quickly. If you're going for 3 stable, constant production. And since you have a lot of towers, zoning off your opponent's resources, try to target their gold, their wood lines, and their berries early on. And now, add like the armor, go for triple stable constant production. Just keep making like more, sending more villagers to food. Just like full 3 stable constant production should be able to end the game. If not, then you start adding economy behind it. Like you don't have to stay with 1 TC. You can add siege workshop or you can start adding economy. Like you can start booming as well with this. Yeah, once you're in, these knights come with +2 armor and +1 attack, they will only be stuck in feudal age and you should be able to kill them off. I've done this quite a bit on my YouTube channel, by the way, if anyone is interested in looking at that. Remember, like the build in terms of the early stages of the game, if you can replicate the number of farms and the timings I'm doing with the scouts and the towers and like everything, you should have like almost no problem in the mid game. And now you basically just finish the game off with the knights by killing all your opponent's villages. Yeah, he's just gonna resign at this point as well. It's against the extreme AI even. So this was spears come forward into knights. Now you can just add more eco as well. Add a 3rd TC on this gold and play like triple stable knights. You can even play like cavalry archers, but the economy setup will again then be different. You don't need these many farms. It's just easier for you to play something like cavalry archers with like less number of farms and more and wood and